Hello again, everybody. This is Dave from Box News and Exclusive Collectibles, back with another box opening. Today we're going to be opening a mostly full box of 1991 Stadium Club football. This box looks like it's missing just a few packs in here. This is the box that features the Brett Favre rookie card, the one that everybody wants to get, and as well as, you know, potentially members' choice cards. So Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, a bunch of Hall of Famers possible. So hope you enjoy. We're about to open the first pack. The thing that you really got to watch out for is a lot of times, since the cards are so glossy, they end up sticking together, which, you know, it's very hard to get them separated. And when you separate them, you have the very easy chance for getting them damaged because they are sticking together. Now, hopefully this box isn't like that, but, you know, it's something beyond our control. So we're going to open these packs very carefully, and then hopefully we don't run into that issue. All right. Looks like a few of them are sticking together just a little bit, but not as bad as I've seen it before. So far, Jesse Hester, Neil Anderson, Joe Nash, Brian Hinkle, and you know, these ones aren't as bad to separate. You can tell they are sticking together a little bit. That usually happens because they've been stacked for a long time. We got Mike Gann. Looks like Boomer Esiason. One stuck behind him. Al Smith. Eugene Daniel. Gary Clark. One stuck behind him. We have Kevin Walker. Calvin Williams, and finally, from the first one we're opening, Ricky Nattiel. Now, these ones are really nice cards. And of course, you know, everybody wants the possibility of cards worth a lot of money. The one that's really a standout, as I mentioned, is Brett Favre. But, you know, the Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders cards are definitely good looking cards out of here. So we're going to separate some of these before we go through them. I've seen them where they completely stick, and you have to actually crack them to hopefully separate them without damaging them. So let's separate them first and then go through them. Jeff Graham, Bobby Humphrey, Jeff Cross, Todd Marinovich, Ken O'Brien, Mark Duper, Jeff Wright, Mike Johnson, Harvey Williams, Louis Sharp, Darrell Lewis, Brent Williams, and finally one of the promo cards. I've seen boxes in here, or not in here, but I've opened boxes of these before. Have gotten boxes without a single Brett Favre. I've seen them have two Brett Favres. You know, it's just, you know, hopefully it's just the luck of the draw to get one of the cool looking Favres. So separate them. First off, exciting checklist. Not a fan of the checklist cards. Hobie Brenner. Don Majowski. Neat card. Mike Golick. Mark Royals. Gary Anderson. Reggie White. That's a good card. Kenny Davidson. Johnny Holland. Another awesome promo card. Has nothing to do. J.B. Brown. And Johnny Meads. As well as Reuben Davis out of that one. Getting up the next one. These packs are tightly bound. You always want to be careful as you open them. You know, basically, do the best you can to not damage the cards as you take them out. Separate them. Got Andre Ware. Keith McCants, Andre Tippett, Chris Singleton, Haywood Jeffries, along with Dan McGuire stuck to him on the back, Max Montoya, Rob Moore, Ernie Jones, Tom Newberry, Nate Odomes, and finally Ernest Biner. Move along. Ken Harvey. Another awesome, exciting checklist. Who's stuck on the back? Tony Page. Leroy Horde. Stadium Club membership card. Thomas Everett. Mervin Fernandez. Along with Lewis Billups. Jim Jeffcoat. Keith Taylor, Wilbur Marshall, another Boomer, and finally Gary Plummer from this one. These boxes weren't as mass-produced back in the 90s, but they certainly did have a high production run. But the scarcity of the Brett Favre card is definitely what draws a bunch of collectors to try their hand or purchase them on graded or non-graded cards on eBay and such. Mark Carrier, Jim Jensen, another awesome checklist. Ben Smith, promo card, Gary Plummer, Mike Singletary, awesome. Now we got Mike Pryor, Al Toon, stuck to him is Darian Connor, and rounding off the pack there's three more, let's extract them. Joffrey Miller, John Taylor, and finally out of this one, Brian Jordan. Next up, Favre watch, Smith watch, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, obviously among some of the Hall of Famers. But you know, definitely can get Junior Seau and we got one Singletary already. Ralph Tam. Checklist. Along with Jerry Robinson. Hassan Jones. Stadium Club membership card. Doug Smith. Raina Thompson. Brad Muster. Cedric Mack. Emmitt Smith. There we go. That's an awesome card. Greg Jackson. Jeff Cross. And finally, out of this one, Joe Prokop. So we got our first Emmitt Smith out of the pack. Open up the next one. Separate. Mike Wilger, Mike Peel, Calvin Martin, Michael Carter, Matt Baer, Floyd Dixon, Neil Smith, Brian Blades, Ron Cox, Calvin Pritchett, Mark Clayton, and to round off this one, Roger Craig. Next up, again, sometimes these are hard to extract. Be sure not to damage the cards more than they already might come. So Sean Wendetta, Marcus Coach, Toy Cook, another checklist card, Stadium Club membership card, Carl Banks. Extract the rest of these. Tim McGee, Brian Blades, Pat Leahy, Tony Saragusa, Tom Rathman, and Wade Wilson. These are difficult sometimes. A lot of it is people that just don't store them properly. John Johnson, Ronnie Lott, good card. Stephen Broussard, Marin Button, Marin Guyton, Henry Elliard, Terrence Mathis, William Fulner, Tim McGee, Herschel Walker, Carl Zander, Brian Brennan, and finally Mark Bortz. Out of that one. Moving along to the next one. Another one we have to extract from, I'm sure. But as I mentioned, I've seen it where all the cards are sticking. I actually submitted a Favre that was sticking and got a grade 6 out of it. Vince Johnson, because of how much it peeled off the front. Eric Howard, Buford McGee, Ralph Tam, awesome checklist once again, Jerry Robinson, Hassan Jones, Stadium Club insert, Wesley O'Neal, Steve Walsh, Christian Okoye, Damone Johnson, and finally Eric Hill. Click it away. Got about 20 of these to go. Ernest Biner, along with Nate Odoms, Tom Newberry, Ernie Jones, Stadium Club insert, as you can see, and here, some of these are starting to stick a little more. It's a risk you take when buying some old boxes. So, Jim Lackey, Russell Maryland, Sterling Sharp, Jerry Ball, Chip Banks, Brent Jones, see who's hiding behind him, Harris Barton, and Louis Lips. All right. Andre Reed, Gary Lewis, Ron Morris, Reggie Rutland, Stadium Club insert card, Mark Ingram, got someone hiding, Keith Millard, Mike Moonchak, Ricky Jackson, Dan Salamanua, Derek Thomas, Junior Seau, second year card. Actually, that's his rookie card. My mistake. Cleveland Gary. Next up, Reggie Rutland, Ron Morris, Gary Lewis, Andre Reed, Stadium Club, Michael Haynes, Jonathan Hayes, Daniel Stubbs, Robert Brown, James Brooks, Leo Goes, Lamar Lathan, and finally Kevin Butler out of that one. We're about halfway through these. I think we've got about 15, 20 of these left. No sign of Favre, no sign of Smith, but we have received one, or I'm sorry, no Sanders, but we've gotten one Emmitt Smith so far. Lamar Rogers, Greg McMurtry, Rich Camarillo, Robert Blackman. Next up, Ray Agnew, Nate Newton, Randall McDaniel, Simon Fletcher, Jeff Bryant, Neon Deion Sanders, and Mike Sherrod, along with Joe Prokop. So we got one of the Deion Sanders in this one. Extracting the next one. Leonard Russell, Travis McNeil, Tom Hobson, Don Warren, Jeff Bostic, Michael Kofer, Irv Pankey, Leon Seals, Chris Hinton, Jerry Gray, Byron Evans, and finally out of this one, Neil Smith. Darrell Lewis, Brent Williams, Harvey Williams, Lewis Sharp, Rodney Hampton, Heath Sherman, Kevin Mack, Broderick Thomas, Bubba Paris, Derek Fenner, and finally out of this one, Jeff Fiegels. So no sign of Favre, no sign of Sanders. I think we've got one Seau. Richmond Webb, Keith Woodside, Danny Villa, Jeff Yeager, Rodney Peete, Eric Andelsick, Eddie Brown, William Fuller, Randall Hill, Melvin Bratton, and finally Kevin Fagan out of this one. No real hits for a few packs. Not too many stars that are easy pulls out of this one, so definitely you got to have patience when opening these. Lamar Rogers, Greg McMurtry, Rich Camarillo, Robert Blackman, Mark Collins, Tim Rosenbach, Reggie Langhorne, Scott Davis, Wesley O'Neal, Steve Walsh, Christian Okoye, and finally out of this one, Damone Jackson. So we haven't really seen any of the big names like Marino, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. It's kind of been just low-key players for the most part. Just low-key players. A couple one or two Hall of Famers. We have Neon Dion so far, and one Emmett Smith. But no Dan Marino, no big name quarterbacks really, except for Don Majowski, Pat Swilling, Donnell Wolford, Richard Johnson, Ricky Reynolds, Eric Hill, Buford McGee, Eric Howard, Vance Johnson, Mark Ingram, Keith Millard, Mike Munchak, and finally out of this one, we've got Ricky Jackson. Got Bubba McDowell, Eric Benemy, Sammy Smith, Mark Robinson, insert that no one cares about, Dan Salamua, Derek Thomas, first one of those we've gotten, Cleveland Gary, Junior Seau, second one of those, big name card, Mark Collins, Tim Rosenbach, Reggie Langhorne, a little rough cut on that one, and finally Scott Davis. Next up, Kent Hull. Next we got Kevin Donnelly, Farrell Edmonds, Stephen Baker, Ron Stark, not to be confused with Tony Stark, James Thornton, Gerald Williams. Next up we have Sam Mills, Brad Baxter, and finally out of this one we have Arthur Cox and Howard Cross. Next up, as you've been seeing, these are quite tedious to open, and if you have patience, then you'll make sure you don't damage anything, because being a collector, even if you want to sell the cards, it's not good to have some damaged cards. Obviously, Pat Swilling, Donnell Wolford. Next up, we have Richard Johnson and Ricky Reynolds, Steve Jordan, Pete Stojanovic, Bill Romanowski, Steve Atwater, Mike Merriweather, Jim Arnold, David Fulcher, and finally we have Tim Worley out of this one. Next up, I believe there's 11 left, is number 11. Still no sign of Favre, and no sign of Emmett's. No sign of Barry Sanders yet. Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Bob McDowell, Eric Bieniemy, Sammy Smith, Mark Robinson, Wendell Davis, John Jackson, Mark Carrier, seen one or a few of him, Mike Dumas, him as well, Marv Cook, Jamie Miller, Howie Long, first one of him we've seen. Next up, Johnny Bailey. So there you have it out of that pack. 10 left. This is obviously opens the same as all the countless others. Kent Hull, Farrell Edmonds, Stephen Baker, Darryl Green, Isaac Holt. Next up, we're trying to extract Ernest Givens, Robert Clark, Nick Bell, Tommy Barnhart, and the last two is Tim Crumry, and finally Brian Noble out of that one. Alright, closing in the final countdown here. Jerome Brown, Chris Dolman. Next up we have Charles McRae, Anthony Thompson, Lewis Oliver, looks like the first one of him we've gotten, Curtis Duncan, him as well, Bruce Hill, Ricky Irvins, Rob Burnett, Freddie Joe Noon, Jim Sweeney, and there's the card we've been waiting for, Brett Favre rookie card. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Edges look a little rough. Hey, that's probably roughly about a grade 9 on that one. So we hit our first Brett Favre for the day, and we'll see if we can get one more out of the last 8 packs. Alright, we've gotten over the Brett Favre hurdle. Now everything else is going to be gravy from here on out. You know, but still we haven't, like I mentioned, we haven't hit any of the big quarterback names. Elway, Montana, Marino. Those are pretty hard finds, you know, for what it is. You know, it seems that Favre is a little bit easier than the rest. This one, checklist, has Reuben Davis on the back. Johnny Meads. J.B. Brown. Eddie Murray. Tim Grunhard. Keith DeLong. Bobby Humphrey. Eddie Brown. Ricky Waters. And James Washington out of that pack. Next up, we got about a handful or so left. Looking for some more Hall of Famers and rookie cards. Cornelius Bennett, David Griggs, Charlie Mann, Eric Moten, Kevin Porter, Matt Brock, Merrill Hodge, nice guy. Went to his football camp back in the day. Carnell Lake, Henry Jones, David Grant, Kevin Glover, and finally Leroy Butler out of this one. Looks like we have 6 left. This is number 6 itself. I already got 1 Brett Favre rookie card, 2 Junior Seaus, and 1 Emmitt Smith, and a few other Hall of Famers, but the rest have been few and far in between. LT, Lawrence Taylor. How about them Cowboys? Wayne Haddix, Andre Collins, Charles Wilson, Tommy Kane, Ron Hall, Ron Woodson, Darryl Talley, Gary Zimmerman, Jeff George, first one of those we've seen, and Anthony Munoz out of that pack. Alright, now we finally have the handful left. We got 5 total left to go out of this 1991 Stadium Club football box. Richard Dent, first one of those. Mike Farr, Kevin Green, Blair Thomas, Anthony Carter, Mike Kroll, Keith Sims, Ed West, Jay Novacek, Tunch Ilkin, Browning Nagel, and out of this one, finally, we've Flipper Anderson. Next up, Cortez Kennedy, good card, good player. Greg Lloyd, James Francis, Stephen Braggs, Lorenzo White, Percy Snow, Dalton Hilliard, Mike Rozier, Anthony Pleasant, Darren Cherry, Will Wolford, and finally, if we can get him out, is Clarence Verdon. Next up, 3 left. For any more Favres we can get, Hall of Famers. Martin Matthew, Sean Gale, the Bears, Ricky Prohl, Hartley Dykes, insert, nobody cares about, Mark Rippon, always liked him, Scott Stevens, Dave Waymer, Chuck Webb, Ricky Sanders, David Grayson, Rodney Holman, and out of this one, Gilbert. Alright, final two. Let's see if we can pull one more Favre rookie card. Book value is up there on the Favres. Graded 10, you probably spent, if you get lucky, you can get them for 30, but typically you can get them anywhere up to $80, $100 for a graded 10 Favre rookie card. Willie Galt, first one of him. Eric Turner, Drew Hill, Jacob Green, Jeff Campbell, Andy Heck, Tim McDonald, Stephon Page, Vernon Thurman Thomas. I believe that's the first one of him we've gotten too. Nate Lewis, Bruce Kozerski, and Harold Green out of this one. Alright, we're on the last pack out of this box, the 1991 Stadium Club cards. Looking for any more Hall of Famers and, things to add to the collection. William Roberts, Tony Woods, Chris Zorich, first one of him. Stan Thomas, Daryl Grant, Freeman McNeil, Mike Saxon, Leonard Smith, Greg Cragen, Jesse Tuggle, Treese Armstrong, and Eric Green. So there you have it. That was 1991 Stadium Club box. We didn't get too many of the hot players, but we did end up getting one Brett Favre rookie card out of there. So, this gives you an idea of kind of what to expect. Obviously different boxes, you'll get different things. This box we didn't even receive a Dan Marino, Joe Montana. We didn't get a Barry Sanders, and there's a bunch of other Hall of Famers we didn't get, but at least we did end up getting a Brett Favre, a couple Junior Seaus, and Thurman Thomas, Lawrence Taylor, Jeff George, and a few other cards. So there you have it. Hope you enjoy. Click like and subscribe, and have a good one. Thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for more videos. Listen and download us on SoundCloud. Visit our site at blocksnews.net and exclusivecollectibles.com for articles, news, collectibles, and help with your website, marketing, and SEO needs. Email us to learn more.